Have you ever seen a Nodosaurus? We're about to see one now. It's a Nodosaurus and her babies. Out in the bush. Guys and girls, this is what it's like living out here. Oh, so when you get to our place, yep, look for the white yam butter sign. Yam Buddha, yam butter. Oh yeah, and the two dinosaurs as well. Yeah! Now that's a driveway sign, if ever I saw it. How cool. So you can probably guess we're nearing the or part of the dinosaur area of outback Queensland. Pretty cool. And here comes the family now, or the mail plane, who knows. They don't use the driveway. Oh God, I love it out here. Well, here we are, we couldn't resist. The Eromanga Natural History Museum, where we have to go and learn about some dinosaurs. Is this just dinosaurs learning about dinosaurs? Hey?
Well, we're not quite dinosaurs.
Not quite there yet. Not quite fossils, are we? Hey?
If we were, we wouldn't be using YouTube.
That's true. Although there's some pretty cool dinosaurs on YouTube. So the building itself is actually quite spectacular. There's a research centre here. I think it's pretty much in its infancy in regards to infrastructure and things like that, because as you can see, we are out in the middle of nowhere. But this is where they found what, the world's largest dinosaur?
Australia's largest.
Or Australia's largest. Sorry everyone, haven't learnt it all yet. So we'll go and see what we can find out. The building here is absolutely stunning. And we've actually just done the hour tour to go and learn all about the bones which were found in the area, and they're continuing to find dinosaur bones. But they have the bones of Cooper, the biggest dinosaur found in Australia here, and up to his thigh bone is about 6 metres tall, so pretty cool. Aidan, what did you think of the tour?
It's great.
It's so good, isn't it?
A lot of information, but
It's my brain's like,
ties a lot of what we've seen previously into place.
yeah. Not to mention the history at home in the Flinders Ranges.
Commander Arts and
Yeah, well, all sorts of things. The Cambrian era, all of that. So, yeah. So everyone, we've just done the Eromanga Natural History Museum. I never thought I would get excited about dinosaurs. I'm so excited about dinosaurs. 2 reasons is because it's one thing to go into museums and see replicas of dinosaurs, which is effectively what they've got here. Some of it is 3D printed dinosaur bones. But there are all the actual bones here from Cooper, the biggest dinosaur ever found in Australia. And
third largest in the world.
yeah, 3rd largest in the world. You can hold some of the bones, you can see how they're preserving them, how they're putting them all back together. It's just, I mean, my mind is a bit like blown, so much information. Katie, our tour guide today, was just fantastic, and I would 100% recommend that you come and do this if you're coming through Eromanga. We haven't done the dinosaurs.
Or even if you're not too far away, a detour.
Yeah, just detour and do it, because it's kind of in its infancy stages. This particular building was only built a few years ago, and they're adding to it all the time. And what they've realised is they actually need to build a bigger shed to house Cooper in once they put him all back together. So I never expected to feel excited about it, but when you learn the story of how the bones are found out here, just out on stations and properties, I just said to Aiden, it does make you wonder how many bones we've actually walked past on the surface, and you don't know because you don't know what you're looking for. But do yourself a favour, there's a great free camp here which we're staying in, or donation camp that we're staying in at the moment, so we'll add that into the video as well so you can see where you can stay to come out here and do this. What was your question, Aiden?
Well, it's while we're having the hot chocolate and coffee, which was really good.
Yeah, oh, the coffee was awesome, everyone. Come and have a coffee here if nothing else.
It struck me, when they built this, did they actually excavate underneath in case there's any dinosaur bones?
Oh, I tell you, I reckon these guys are, you know, looking around and probably never ever walking with their heads up in this place. We couldn't help ourselves. We've come for a drive out to some red sand hills from Eromanga. This road goes back out to Quilpie, and it's kind of, they mention it in the tourist brochures, but don't go looking for tourist signs or anything. You're not going to find them. You just have to drive the road and look for it. It's so good. So good. Isn't it, Aiden? The colours.
Yep.
Just spectacular.
Reminds me of the Simpson sand.
It's definitely so fine. Yeah. So fine. It's not dust, it's just that gorgeous red sand. And not a soul here, of course, as usual. And I was just going to come... Definitely not complaining. But this is how this country is looking at the moment out here, outside of Eromanga. The best they've seen it for a long time, but pretty stunning to have the contrast with the red sandhills. Just absolutely beautiful. And I mean, you can tell that they've had rain here, because I think this might be the first time I've ever seen this. There's little fungi actually growing in the red sand. Bit crazy.
Yep. Oh, I think this is the closest we'll get to Simpson sand this year, unfortunately, due to changing plans.
Oh, yes, our ever-changing plans. But we are determined to get to the Simpsons sometime. Might not be this year, but it's coming. But we are getting to some red sand and dirt in the red centre. That's a must this year. So this will tide us over until then. This is the way these sand hills just rise out of nowhere here. That's where we were standing before, up there. They've got their own little museum here at Eromanga. You just need to go into the pub to get the key if you want to take a look. And it's such a shame because they've had to lock it. Old Rob was telling us this morning that unfortunately things are pilfered from here when they had it open previously, and people kind of think it's their right to take something as a souvenir. Like, just don't. Why would you do that? This is the history of this little town. And you know, a lot of these items are donated in good faith by families to try and give a bit of a story of the history of the area. Not to mention, you know, the families that have lived here for generation after generation. And, you know, I just can't even imagine what would compel you to come into an exhibition like this and just think that you could take something because you want a souvenir. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, yep, if you want to come and have a look, you just need to grab the key from the pub, come in, there's lots of reading and well worth having a look at, because Eromanga's got a lot going on here. Dinosaurs, opals, oil. This really packs a punch, this little town, doesn't it, Aidan? For just how many people live here, do we think?
25, I think I read.
Yeah, it's not many. So we've really enjoyed our time, haven't we? Yeah, really enjoyed it. So that's the Royal Hotel, Eromanga. Apparently the furthest town from the sea. The furthest or furthest? We've been debating that. I better do a Google. But the furthest town from the sea. So effectively, if you had a drink there, like we did yesterday, you're having a drink at the furthest town from the sea. This used to be an old Cobb and Co station, so definitely a bit of history here. So 40-50 altogether. And there's a free camp here at the Opalopolis Park. Getting on board the dinosaur history here. It's a pretty good park actually. Even got dinosaur slides and stuff for the kids. And there's a free camping area just around here to the side. So we're going to check that out. And we're definitely staying for tonight. There is some potable water here, so we're just filling up with the bare minimum that we need. Great now. Amenities in the side of the community hall there, so toilets and showers, which is always welcome if you're travelling out here. This is the free camping area here, next to the hall. So a great place to come and pop yourself to do a bit of exploring. Pretty quiet at the moment. We've had a great time in Eromanga. It's one of those little towns that you could just drive through and not give it a second glance, but honestly it's got so much going on here if you just stop to take the time to have a look. Now, one of the things, I consider myself to be a novice twitcher. I don't know if that means I'm getting old or whatever, but love looking at birds. And this morning when we did a talk with old Rob, who is a historian who lives in the town, he comes over to the donation camp, usually about once a day, and has a chat to everyone about the history of the area, and it's really informative, and you actually learn a lot from him that will have, I'm not going to give it all away, but it will have you looking around the paddocks and areas very differently when you're driving in or out. So I'd already read about this online, but he reiterated this morning and pointed it out, and we were able to see apparently one of the world's rarest falcons. So there is a pair of grey falcons nesting at the top of that Telstra tower, and this morning they were out in full flight doing their thing, which was actually pretty cool to see. They've gone now, because now I could actually try and film them for you. They're up behind that satellite dishy area, and hopefully this afternoon or tomorrow morning before we go, get to glimpse them again. But for those of you that are twitchers, it's worth stopping in Eromanga just for that, if nothing else, and you might be lucky enough to catch a glimpse of them.
The grey falcons are out this morning. It's funny how when someone tells you a bird's rare, you become a twitcher. So there's one just here next to the dish, and I think the other one might be above it. Can't quite tell. Or there might just be grey blues. Anyway, a pair of grey falcons for those twitchers out there. And sorry, I don't have a good camera with me, so I can't zoom in any further than that.
This is crazy, Aidan. What did you just say? Well.
It's lovely.
So the locals told us about this little native well outside of Eromanga. Obviously it's a bit low at the moment compared to what you might see sometimes, but all the little birdies around here are loving it. I mean, you just have to look at the landscape to see how amazing it is to just come out and have this little native well, they call it here. And this is what you find out from talking to the locals, isn't it?
Yep.
Who are very proud of their area. So we've just stopped to have a little look at that before we head on actually today. Really heading out to the bush today, aren't we? Hey? But these guys will have to wait for the next video for that. Erromango, we love you. Can't wait to get back sometime. You've been one of our faves so far, and who knew we could get so excited over dinosaurs.